Hello, namaste, adab, dosto. Today we have Ashish Naredi. He is the chairperson of Indic National School, Kompally, Hyderabad. Welcome, sir. We are
My
so glad
pleasure.
to have you.
My pleasure.
Um, I want to start off with the motto of your school,
Yeah.
which is Sa Vidya Ya
Vimuktaya.
Vimuktyaya.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, can you explain more?
Yeah.
Can you enlighten more on this particular motto?
Sure.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's Sa Vidya Ya Vimuktaya. So if you translate it in simple language, it is education that liberates you. And for our purpose, we've translated in English as education that sets you free. So the reason why we chose that motto is because of the concept of education that we take and the problems with the present education system that we see. So, if you look at any normal person who's been educated, he is filled with several complexes and mindsets. Uh, let's say he's a middle class guy. Oh, you are a middle class guy. You shouldn't dream so much. You look for a good job. Don't look at business. Don't look at fine arts. Don't look at music. Don't look at acting. Now, what does a natural born artist do in such a situation? What does he or she do in this education system? Where you're not allowing his natural self to prosper and come out, and instead you're telling whatever you have is bad and you should be this. So you're straight jacketing everyone in a particular mind frame and a mindset.
Right.
And that is one of the big drawbacks that we see, and which is what we want to get rid of. We want to see each person has his own unique ability.
Right.
As Sri Aurobindo said, one of his sayings is that each child is gifted, and it's the job of the school to discover that gift. That gift can come once we get rid of all inhibitions, all mindsets. And that's why we chose this motto of Savidya Ya Vimuktaye. So education is one that liberates you, and it's our aim to keep walking on that path. Not that everybody who comes here will prosper into what he truly is, but we do hope to lay foundations where going ahead in life, the students will be able to chart the entire journey towards self-realization, and we take that very seriously, and we design our entire curriculum and school activities around that motto.
So when you
that's
say
how-
education, it is
Yeah.
not really just the what we the books,
Books,
and
absolutely no.
science, maths, physics, chemistry.
That's just a part of education.
Right.
Why make it the whole and soul of education?
Right.
Why make an exam the entire testament of your entire personality? Now, if you look at Virat Kohli, he's not even inter pass. You'll call him uneducated. You look at so many of our actors; they've
Sure.
not done any education. You look at all kids are addicted to Facebook and Insta.
Right.
Mark Zuckerberg, he's a college dropout, so he's uneducated. So Steve Jobs, Apple, who made the entire mobile phone revolution,
Absolutely.
he dropped out of college. And one of the reasons what they give is that education is in a way straight jacketing everyone. It's like a factory production. Everybody, all the rough edges rounded off, and everybody made in a similar manner coming outside. That's not education. That's factory production of people. That's what we believe. So it's just not the academics and the marks that you get. It's just one part of education. Let's look at education, what it was truly meant to be in our nation, at least in India. And that's why, with that philosophy, that motto, we decided to even name our school Indic International School. So we look at what education was supposed to do in our own country.
Right.
So, which is where again the motto comes
So
from
rich
Sanskrit.
at that time.
Yes, absolutely. So you had people would go to gurukuls. They would Gurukul part is at least well known in people. What several people don't know is that after Gurukuls, we had a very advanced schooling system, even a college system, several universities. I can get into a lot more detail that subject, but to give you one small example on that, even when the British came in the 1700s and 1800s. Or let's look at this debate which was going on in UK Parliament in the 1800s, wherein they were trying to investigate into what is the Indian education system and what's the British education
Yes.
system. So you you will be surprised to know that in 1820s, when they did a survey in Bengal Presidency, out of 1,10,000 villages, 1,05,000 had a school. And at that point of time, UK would have had about, I think, two or three universities. India had more than 100 universities even then. But this entire system was waylaid, and foreign system was superimposed on it,
Superimposed.
totally killing and subjugating the native education system.
Absolutely.
So our effort is to do a synthesis of both and see what is best for an individual to grow as and adopt that system. We are, of course, saddled with a colonial relic in terms of the CBSE board that we follow. But be that as it may, we do have a lot of independence even in that board. And that's the independence with which we play around and try and incorporate aspects that we want to in education.
Right. So, how do you do that? So, there you, as you rightly mentioned, that you have to follow a board
Yes. Yes.
curriculum.
Yeah.
How do you work around it
Correct.
so that you can
See, one aspect of CBSE, good aspect that many people ignore is that you need to follow the CBSE curriculum as far as 9th and 10th is concerned. That's the lesson plans that they give, the books that they give. Till 8th, you have independence.
Oh.
Okay. So while broadly you will keep following their curriculum, but you get a lot of independence in terms of how you want to structure those subjects and how you want to structure those lessons. That's one. Two, you have a lot of independence in terms of the pedagogy that you adopt. So even if it's the subject of physics, what you teach, the content might not change, but how you teach can change. And that need not be that you open the textbook and you say, this is what it is, this is Newton's laws of motion, and please learn it by heart, come and reproduce. So you can move to a system where you stress on understanding. So the pedagogy is in your hands. So if I can give you instances of how we are making certain changes in our school.
Yes.
So like I said, everything is tied to our philosophy. And when we said if we've got to give students an education that will help them know themselves and then know the world and then finally realize what their true worth is, we felt the knowledge of Sanskrit is compulsory, is necessary. So we perhaps will be among the very few schools, I think certainly the only one in Hyderabad, which has made Sanskrit compulsory from LKG till grade 8.
Oh.
Yeah. So we do the CBSE subjects. Medium of instruction is English.
Okay.
You will have your second language, mother tongue. Whoever has Hindi, he will learn Hindi. He or she will learn Hindi. Whoever has Telugu, they'll learn Telugu. With that, we add in an element of Sanskrit.
So that is a compulsory subject.
Yes,
for
that is from the
everybody
school for
across-
everybody.
Okay.
And now the innovation in terms of how we teach Sanskrit, there are no textbooks.
Okay.
There's no exam for Sanskrit. Learn the language just for the pure fun and joy of learning the language. Try a subject where you remove the fear of exams from the student's mind. This is Sanskrit. Let's converse in Sanskrit, and we stress on spoken Sanskrit. So, if you remember, I don't know, had you ever studied Sanskrit in your school, college?
I did.
So many of your friends, you can check with them. Whoever takes Sanskrit.
My mother did. My mother did
so
a specialization.
But a lot of my friends did that in intermediate. The reason we take it is because we say it's a scoring subject.
That's what she used to say.
And the fun part or the funny part is that Sanskrit paper is also written in English in many places. You read Sanskrit and then you write an English translation. So ultimately you're writing English, you're writing a bit of grammar, and you're getting 100 marks.
Oh.
So you saddle so much of grammar that the joy of learning that language is killed.
Right.
So I'll give you my instance. I joined one institute. I said, no, I need to learn Sanskrit. So I went there, and then the grammar, vibhaktis, Ramo, Rama, Ramaya. Anybody who's done a bit of Sanskrit will relate to what I'm saying. And you get so drowned in it that you say, no, this is not for me. ये मेरे बस का नहीं है. It's too tough a language. You let it be. We don't do that. We do it in a very fun and playway method, and it's only on spoken Sanskrit. So, a simple instance, I would say, Mama Nama Ashishah Bhavatyaha Nama Kim.
Mm.
What did I say?
So, my name is Ashish.
What is your name?
name?
Simple. You learned one sentence. Sentence by sentence, sentence by sentence, as much as you can use. We keep building it. So you should see some of the ways in which Sanskrit is taught in our class. So to teach numbers, how do you teach numbers? We'll play hide and seek in the class. You go and hide under the bench. So you count 1 to 10. Ekam, dve, trini, chatvari,
Lovely.
pancha, shata, sapta, ashta, nava, tasha, and then they go out searching. So now the other aspect, if I can sneak in here, if you need to have such an interactive classroom, you can't have fixed benches in the classes.
Sure.
So if you come to our school, you will see that each student will have an individual desk and a chair, nothing fixed. So when the class teacher needs to teach something, they can have a classroom setting. When they need to discuss something, we can change the configuration into a conference room. When you're playing games like this, we can push all the furniture to the side, and then you can have theater, you can have dance, you can have music. So right from LKG till grade 10th, we have classroom setting where we have this such flexibility. But coming back to Sanskrit and your main question of how we bring in elements of our teaching and how we innovate in our school. So this is the way we are teaching Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a novelty. We also feel that music needs to be taught to everyone. They need to develop appreciation for music. And there are various other aspects in which I'll not get into right now. So music is again a compulsory subject for everyone in our school.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we wanted the best people to teach that. So we've had a tie-up with Shankar Mahadevan Music Academy. And the curriculum set by Shankar Mahadevan is taught by a teacher trained and in a curriculum developed by them. So that's again a part of our school. Now, if we want to take the students seriously towards a journey of self-discovery, we need to bring in techniques and practice of meditation into the school. So our daily routine in the school starts with about 5 minutes of meditation. This starts from grade 5 onwards. Prior to that, it's a minute or two of silence, because when the kids are brimming with energy, let's just close our eyes, sit and relax for 2 minutes. And for grades 5th and above, we've introduced a technique of Anapanasati, which is the foundational technique in Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation, a lot of the viewers would have heard of it. So we had one day when the Vipassana teacher came into the school. Everybody in the school, students, teachers, management, including myself, security staff, housekeeping staff, we sat for meditation together, and we had, I think, about a 90-minute session where it was introduced, and then every day a 5 minutes follow-up. Then every month we have a 45-minute short revision workshop by the Vipassana teacher who comes into the school. It will be a little, perhaps, a lot of kids might not be really interested in it, but at least they will get a taste of it. And everybody runs into some difficulties sometimes. Maybe you get less marks, or maybe the parent has scolded you. That's where perhaps some of these techniques will come. Oh, let me not stress about it. Let me just observe my breath.
Yes.
So these are instances of 2-3 instances where, while remaining in the CBSE curriculum, we are trying to innovate and bring in aspects of our philosophy and education.
And I think what I'm liking the most is that you're going back to the roots.
Yes.
So be it Sanskrit, be it meditation. So these are our roots.
Correct.
Which now we are trying to again get it back from the West, unfortunately.
Yes.
So that is something that is beautiful. Second is, it's not for the sake of it you have introduced something.
Absolutely.
You have done it with a beautiful purpose, and you're sticking on to that purpose.
Absolutely.
Many schools have many more, extracurricular activities, but they just touch upon it, or they don't even bother too much about it. So you are going there. And as far as the children meditation is concerned, forget about the children. I mean, it has taken me so many years to even understand the importance and the what all it can do for you,
Absolutely.
meditation.
Absolutely.
So today probably the children are not understanding in
Yes.
that level,
Yes.
but tomorrow when it becomes a habit, tomorrow they can understand
Absolutely.
what is the
Yeah.
what is the depth.
So, as far as meditation is concerned, let me give you my own instance. So, I'm a product of the same education system. So, I grew up believing meditation is all brainwashing, yoga is bakwas, इससे कुछ होता नहीं है. And I used to reject all of these things. Slowly, one by one, I don't know how I ended up going to a meditation camp. I went there, and that's when I realized there's perhaps something truth that is there in it. I remember in one of my cousin's wedding, his cousin had come from Calcutta and he was going to Vipassana for 10 days. And I said, don't go. Baba log will be there. They'll brainwash you. You don't know. I know. And what a twist of fate. Now, whoever I meet, I say, no, you should do Vipassana. And height of heights, I'm trying to introduce that in our school. We've already introduced Anapansati, and for all our teachers and staff, we give them paid leave if anybody wants to go to a 10 days course of Vipassana.
Beautiful.
And I think the first one or two staff members will be going next month. So that's how perspectives change, and the journey that I've traversed, changing my views on a lot of things. And a lot of people will say, yes, you thought like this earlier, but now you think this way. But that's the journey of life.
That is life.
That's life. If you get some new information,
Absolutely.
if you find something new,
Yes.
and you realize you're wrong,
No,
why
you're
stick
discovering
to-
every day.
Absolutely.
So that is life. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's monotony.
Yes.
It's just
Absolutely.
routine.
Absolutely.
That's not life.
So I the conception of school was also from that the journey that I've had, perhaps the realizations that I've had after many years in life. What if the children were not put into those misconceptions at all,
Mhm.
or even if they are taken in that mindset, what if they came out early? Then perhaps they can do a lot more.
True.
And which is where I thought, let's start a school and see if we can do something about it. And even if we can help a limited set of students, we would have made some difference to some people's life. And that's how the conception of the school
Okay.
came.
Okay. In fact, that was something that I wanted to ask you. Given your background, I would definitely want to come to that and want to hear more about a little bit of your childhood and your educational background. You have a spectacular educational background. Why don't you say something about that?
Yeah, see, I was the head boy in my school, pretty popular in my school. I was the acha bacha of my parents and the blue-eyed boy, if I can say, of all my teachers. So,
In
whatever.
which school did you study?
I did study from St. Paul's High School, Hyderabad.
Okay.
And so whatever our education system grooms us into, I was groomed very well in that, which is why I said that I thought India has nothing to offer. India is such a backward country, and the West is where the real technology and science is. All our spiritual practices are humbug, rituals are humbug. Yeah, so after schooling in St. Paul's, I did my intermediate. I didn't want to take maths, physics, chemistry, the usual stream, but my dad said, "Why don't you take it? You will have a lot more choices later on." And I said, "No, I'm not going to write MSET or IIT." He said, "That I'll leave it to you, but do take MPC." So I took MPC in Inter, and then I didn't write MSET, I didn't write IIT, and I used to have a lot of fun in class because everybody else was studying always, and I was the one having fun. Then I took humanities, economics, political science, public administration in graduation. Then I did my MA in public administration. Then joined family business of petrol pump. 6 years I managed my dad's petrol pump, and I wanted to experience the corporate side. So was thinking of doing an MBA, and luckily ISB, Indian School of Business, opened in Hyderabad. So I wrote the entrance, applied, got in, did my MBA from ISB, and like I said, I wanted to experience the corporate side. So I got a campus placement in Reliance. For some reason, coming from a business family, I had a lot of admiration for the Reliance group and wanted to work in Reliance. So luckily, I got a chance, and I worked with Reliance Communications for about 4.5 years. handled 5 different profiles, got 3 promotions there. Uh, was also taking care of the broadband business for the entire state of Andhra Pradesh, Madhya
Wow.
Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal. And that's when I thought the corporate bug is over. I had seen it all. And I would like to start something on my own. So that's where I quit Reliance, started my first industry, which is into recycling rubber and plastic.
Oh.
And this was in 2013. So 2016, I started another unit, which is manufacturing fly ash bricks. So this was a Ultratech cement company plant, a small scale plant for them, very tiny scale for them, good scale for us. So we bought over that plant, and that's what I was managing.
And this was for how long?
That still continues. So
Oh.
my rubber industry continues, my bricks, fly ash bricks industry continues, and 2016, 15, 16, I got into a bit of parent activism as well. So there's an organization called Hyderabad Schools Parents Association.
Mhm.
So 3 years I was actually fighting against the schools, against their fee hikes. So a lot of people were taken aback when they got to hear that I was going to start a school. So in COVID, I sat and I was reviewing like, what is it that we are doing and where do we want to go. So till then it was more like, okay, whatever comes your way, you decide and take. So the first conscious choice of deciding a particular field and then making an effort towards getting that was the school. So that I did in COVID. Uh, Made a short note for
That's like
myself.
a polar
Yeah, it
difference
is.
to
So
what you have
for
been
some
doing.
reason, I always had this thought that we should start a school at some point
Okay.
of time. That was always there. So my involvement in the parents association, I think, was the last trigger, and that's where we set out starting looking to start a school. The essential goal initially was, of course, we should provide a affordable model of
Mhm.
school. You should have the best of infrastructure possible, second to none, and at a price point which is at least half of what every other school does.
Fantastic.
So that's the goal with which we started. And once that thought had come in, and of course, we had a lot of other issues with the education system also. But the other side, the issues with the education system started taking more prominence over the affordability part. Not that our school, we've given up on the affordability part. We still maintain that. If you come and have a look at our school, I'm sure you would find the infrastructure second to none. In fact, the reviews that we get from parents is it's much better than the schools that they've seen at double the price point. So we continue to do that, but that's already done. So the essential goal right now has become what you can do with education itself.
Okay.
So once we started reading into it and looking back at our own life reflections, this aspect gained prominence, and that's how the school came to be.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's
from my
wonderful.
school to a school where we teach others, it's been an
Wow.
eventful journey.
It's like, completing a cycle.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Beautiful. Uh, Sir, what is your take on the new education policy where, they are trying to introduce mother tongue
Yeah.
as one of the languages?
Yeah, see, the sad part, firstly, the policy is good. It could do a lot more. I do have some issues also about it, and I've spoken and given presentations about it in different fora. The users can search with my name and new education policy, you'll get it.
But can you give us the, top three pros and cons?
Yeah. So the biggest, let me start with the cons first. So so the biggest problem that I have with the policy is that it doesn't do anything with the overall economic structuring of the education. Now what do I mean by that is, if you look at who gets a license to start an educational institution, be it a school, college, or university, they give it only to a not for profit society. And now you contrast that with actual reality on ground. Yeah, I'm sure you would have seen news reports of schools getting sold for 1,500 crores, 1,700 crores.
Yes.
and universities having turnovers and profits running into crores and crores. So what are we talking about not for profit sector? So only thing that this particular policy is doing is that uh, by saying that it should not be for profit, you are enabling even more profit in the sector.
Yes. Okay.
And much of it is coming in terms of cash and illegal black money. That's a subject which national education policy has just not touched. And otherwise, they did such a comprehensive review, and the revisions that they've done in it are brilliant. But this is one white elephant that they've not touched. There's another white elephant, and which is the Right to Education Act. That's a very draconian act which has done a lot of harm to the overall education system in the entire country. I will not get into the details, but you can again search for my article which I wrote on right to education.
Where can we find this article?
This will be there in Swarajya Mag, Swarajya online magazine. They have published it. I think I wrote something on the lines of the worst legislation that our country has ever come up with.
Okay.
So these are the two major cons that we have, but the big positives as well. So the biggest positive that I find as far as school education is concerned is the structuring that they've done in terms of the high school. So right now, when we talk about schools, we talk about a 10+2 system.
True.
What the new education policy does is, not getting into a lot of other technical details, but 10+2, you can imagine it restructured as 8+4.
8+4, yes.
Okay, so what they do is high school till 8th, and then from
there's a
9th, 10th, no, they haven't given the board in the final policy. You will still go to 9th standard, and from 9th to 12th, you will have a semester system.
Oh.
And the hard choice that the students have to do right now after 10th, medicine or engineering, that hard choice will not be forced upon the students now. It's going to be a major and minor system, which people who've done graduations, many of them might be aware of. But to give it out in simple terms, it will be that, you can take biology in semester 1 in 9th standard. Then, if you don't like it, you can leave biology. Second semester, you can shift to maths. If you don't like maths, you skip it. And then in 10th, in the first semester, you can again take into humanities or social studies. So that bit of flexibility is there.
But if, as a student, if I'm trying to change according to my one way, it is good that I'm trying out all the subjects to understand where my acumen lies.
Right.
But then when we have to appear for the boards.
Yeah. So the way the boards run is which is where I said the major and minor system. So let's say in post graduation, usually that system is followed. Let's say in an MBA, you would say, what's your specialization in? Is it marketing or strategy or finance? Right. So similarly, if let's say the NEET will continue for your entrance examinations into engineering, and IIT JEE will continue. So if you want to appear for NEET, you will need to be a major in, let's say, science or in biology, right? So you will have to do a course related to biology in each semester. So there are some courses which will be like, if you want to be a major in biology, then these courses are compulsory for you. You can't skip them.
So let's say if I want to go into JEE, okay? Yeah. Maths is a must.
Yes.
But in the first semester, I have taken up biology, which I didn't like. So I pushed it away. Right. Now in the second or third semester, maybe I have taken up maths. Yeah. But then do I qualify to...
Yeah. So there are certain subjects in 9th and 10th which will be declared as compulsory for all. Okay. And so you have certain compulsory subjects and certain optional subjects. So you will get that leeway in optionals.
Okay.
Right. So let's say you want to write NEET or JEE. So you'd say, no, math is compulsory in 9th. This math I will take. And then you will still get a choice. If you don't want to do it, you let go of math. Or let's say you've taken biology in 9th and you would also want to do a bit of math.
Right.
So once you go to 11th standard, there will be a few optionals in maths that you'll be able to get. Let's say trigonometry could be one. Let's say calculus. I'm just giving out
Right.
simple examples. We don't
Right.
know what's there in the curriculum, but you'll get an option to do that. Or why even trigonometry and calculus would be perhaps too complex. If you would want to understand just basic statistics in terms of being able to read a lot of statistical reports and do a bit of data analysis. Data analysis could be a new subject which would come in. So you would get that as a choice. So there's a lot of flexibility which is being built in. That's the biggest positive that I see coming out of national education policy.
Right.
And the other aspect, what you said, promoting the education in mother tongue. Now that has not been made compulsory. Okay, so and I don't think making it compulsory is advisable. So that's again a good feature about it. They do try and take a few steps on language policy, but I think a lot more needs to be done, and it's a big subject. Language is again something very close to my heart, and the kind of language policies and how English is being imposed on our system. So again, you might think that I'm trying to promote some of the talks that I've given, but I give a talk precisely on this subject also of the language policy, and you can perhaps check it out. A
Where
lot of
can we
interesting.
check that?
You'll find a lot of them on our school website
Okay.
and some of the videos that I've given.
Okay.
But this I think was at a Indic Global Education Summit.
Okay.
You can type Naredi and education policy, you should be able to get it. All of these talks you should find on our school website.
Okay.
So that's another positive.
But then if it might not be compulsory, but then don't you think the school should be equipped with
Yes.
all the teachers
Absolutely.
ready to
True.
teach the children?
Yes. That's going to be a challenge, and CBSE is yet to come out with a detailed guidelines in terms of how they're going to implement it. While they've given subjects choices that they've divided subjects into different categories. So one is humanities, one is sciences, one is mathematics, and information computer technology, and so on and so forth. But what exactly will be the content of it, and how exactly do we go with translating the intent of the policy in effect in the school? A lot more details need to come in.
So by when do you think it will be implemented?
They haven't given the deadline.
Okay.
I am assuming maybe a year or two. I'll have to check, or in the past few weeks or months, if they've come up with some circular, I'll have to check.
Okay.
But as far as I remember, they haven't given a cutoff date that this is when it will start.
Okay.
But they have given the broad contours of the implementation, which again looks good. We'll have to wait for the final details. Yeah, so that's a big positive of NEP.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, when you are recruiting your teachers, given the special curriculum that you're trying to induce in your control area in your school, how do you know that this teacher, because there are some mandate educational requirements that every teacher should have, but then how do you understand that a particular person is the kind of teacher that I'm looking for my students?
I think that's where the skill of our director and principal come in. And we have a complete sync on what we are looking for in a teacher. And the first and foremost thing we look at is the overall nature of the person, how he or she is as a person, whether they love to spend time with kids or not, and how good a human being they are. That's the prerequisite. And then, of course, on top of it comes the skill and the mastery of the subject. So, Hema ma'am, our director, Hema Surupneni, I call her Hema ma'am. So, she's got 33 years of experience, set up some of the best schools in Hyderabad, and she's a pro at it. You should meet her once. So, she takes care.
Okay.
So, if I can give an instance of how her experience works, while all schools are supposed to be inclusive and we are supposed to it taken students with special needs or with certain disabilities as well. Since this was our first year, we said we do not have a special education teacher yet, so let's not take special children in for the first year. And we had all the screenings that we wanted to, but some children still do come in. So first or second day of school, I think Hima went for a round. In an hour, she comes back and she tells that section, bring that boy out. That section, bring this girl out.
Okay.
About 7 or 8 students out of 235, she picked out. I said, why? She said, no, they have some learning difficulty.
Oh.
And when we spoke to them, we spoke to the parents, each one of them had some or the other problem. Now you imagine the skill of an educator that you go on a round in the class and you
My
pick out
God.
precisely those students
Oh
who have
my
these
God.
difficulties.
Beautiful.
I
mean,
was
that's-
like,
that's
amazed that day.
amazed, really.
Absolutely. So
I think
we
that
are
comes
lucky
with
to
a-
have her in
Yeah,
our school.
yeah.
And I do hope she gets all the recognition that she deserves, because I've interacted with so many educators and she's by far the best that I've met.
Brilliant. When you did you ever come across any challenges in your
Mhm.
school, in any kind of situation which is challenging enough for you to remember and take forward? And if so, what kind of a challenge was
My
it?
school days?
Your school days, or probably
Or
now
this
in your
school?
school,
Yeah,
in
okay, okay.
Indic
In this school.
International? Have you come across,
Yeah.
because it is the first year,
Yeah.
I'm sure it takes some kind
Yeah,
of a
of course.
season.
Setting up the school and getting the right kind of people in, that, of course, was a big challenge. But now we've done that. So, one thing that I very vividly remember, which had me a little worried, was when we were talking to a lot of children. Essentially, our director Hima ma'am and Mitu ma'am, who's our principal, they do a lot of talking. And once when we were sitting and discussing the kind of stories that we heard from the children
Mhm.
of how their families are and how they were being treated at home, that had me worried. To give you an instance, I of course will not name the student, but there's a student whose father beats him every day at home without a fail.
Okay.
And we're like, how do we handle the kid now? So this again came, he was slightly disoriented and he was having behavioral
And which
issues.
class was this? In the
I,
primary
I,
sections?
I would know it's on the higher classes,
Okay.
but I would not want to give
No,
the
no,
name
that's
of the
fine. That's fine.
class also out, because it will help people identify the kids. But when we were looking at, why are certain children having some behavioral difficulties, invariably, every time we found it related to some problems at home. Either they have a dysfunctional family or some other issue at home. And I was like, now, a little kid, not even in his teens, how does he handle the situation where every day the father hits him? There's another guy whose father hits him with a belt.
Oh, God.
And in the parent teacher meeting again, when we had, one kid was very happy, and I asked him, what happened? You got good marks? He said, no, sir. I said, then what makes you happy? He said, first parent teacher meeting when my parents didn't scold me, because the teacher didn't complain. So things like that. I mean, the kind of trauma that our kids are going
How do
facing
you
at home,
handle this?
which is what is we were thinking. So meditation helped. So I said, I thought, actually the initial thought was, let entire academic settle down, and then we'll try and bring in meditation. But the moment we saw all these problems that the kids were facing, I immediately called up the meditation teacher I knew, Miss Sabrina Kataka. She's a very experienced
Yes,
teacher
I
of
know
Vipassana.
something. Yes.
I said, ma'am, you've got to come to my school, and I need to introduce this technique to the kids. And at least we need to equip them with some tool by which will at least lessen their pain, if not make it go away. And you can't even confront the parents directly that this is what the kid told us, because then we don't know what further music the kid will face at home. So that's again to the skill of our leadership team, Hima ma'am and Mitu ma'am, wherein we call for separate meetings with the parents without telling them that this is what the kid has said, trying to counsel them that
Mm.
what happens in home gets reflected at school.
True. And also,
So
it kind of puts an imprint on the
yes,
child's
yes.
psychology
So
for the
I
entire
still
life.
shudder. I've seen some of those kids talk, and I was like, no, this is not the childhood that the
Yeah,
kids deserve.
yeah.
But we can do only as much as we can. So we said, okay, let's at least try and equip them with something which will
Mm.
give them the strength and the mental strength, more importantly, to deal with such things. So one of the things is meditation. I do hope it helps. I We'll have to see how they take it. But yeah, that's at least something that we're doing, and we are at least keeping a track of all the students where we get to know that they have some problem.
Mm.
So that's one thing that keeps weighing on the mind, that we should do something
Yes,
to
I think,
uh,
yes.
have their
It's a
childhood,
very
so that the
difficult,
childhood
very
does not.
tricky
Absolutely,
situation.
absolutely. I never imagined, of course, when we started a school, that we'll be dealing with issues like this as well,
Right, right,
wherein you can't do anything about their
right.
personal issues.
You have a limit
Yes,
after
absolutely.
which you cannot, you know,
So
go
that
beyond
also
that.
gave me an idea in terms of how big the responsibility it is of having a school,
Yes,
that you've got to track all
yes.
students. And I said, no, no, we should have a proper counseling session. We'll soon be appointing a full-time counselor as well, so that students can at least come out and pour their heart out to
Mm.
someone. I think that's another big thing. They need
Mm.
someone to talk to,
I
who they
think,
know that they will, the information that they give will not misused.
true.
So
They can confide
yes, absolutely.
confidently.
While all schools need to have a counselor, we are in the process of appointing one.
Okay.
We should soon be having that. But that's something that weighs on my mind, that we need to take care of those children.
This is like the process of learning,
Yeah,
I think. Oh my
absolutely.
God.
This was something new. I never anticipated that we'll be getting into
Yes,
issues like
yes,
this.
yes.
But yeah.
So, what, according to you, you have seen so much of this world, the corporate world, the business world.
Yeah.
Now you're running your own school.
Hmm.
So, what, according to you, till date, is your biggest achievement?
Biggest achievement. I think starting this school. That definitely is uh, something at the top of my mind right now. Because you look at it, about 10 years back, I was in a 9 to 5 job,
Hmm.
and whatever CTC I was getting then, 10 years now, in times that CTC I am paying out as salaries. And while that aspect is there, it is school requires a lot of investments, and
Right.
it's not that we have with money bags where we had everything. So I don't know, perhaps some divine grace which guided and just kept on removing one obstacle after another, and the entire responsibility that we have on our shoulders now of influencing so many students, so
Yes,
many families, and so many lives.
that is
So
true.
that in a way is humbling,
Hmm.
and that we could get to this position, that also gives a sense of achievement, that okay, you're there. But do always remember uh, that others are looking up to you in terms of fulfilling whatever you've said. Now,
Right.
so many people, that was again an humbling experience when we started our admissions. We did not even have a proper floor, one table, two chairs, and we started it off. And when we started speaking to parents, parents started trusting us. So one after another, and then when we hit 250 admissions, it was again a humbling experience. That okay, yes, sense of achievement, but at the same time humbling that so many people are trusting you. Don't let them down. So yeah, it works both ways. Gives you a sense of achievement, but also humbles you down.
I think when your intent is correct and pure, I think that divine intervention happens.
I do think so. I,
So,
when I reflect back, had I thought that we could have actually pulled off a school few years down the line, I don't think I would have been so confident. But being there in that position now, there's some forces at work which are
mm,
easing our work for us.
yeah,
Our elders, our gods, you call it whatever.
yeah,
But there's
some kind
something
of
which has helped
power.
us.
Yes,
There's
of
something which
course,
has
of
helped us.
course,
Without that, it would never have
of course.
happened.
So, a normal day,
Yeah.
what do you do? What are your highlights of your day?
Yeah.
And I would tag another question
Yeah.
along with it. What is it that motivates you every day? Because
Mm.
I know it's a every day you are going there. So many people
Yeah.
are looking up to you.
Yes.
What motivates you? What drives you?
What drives me, what motivates me is there's so much to do. There's so much to learn. Every day there is a new learning. It might sound very cliched, but it's a fact. And I think that again comes from the grounding of Vipassana, that you learn by yourself.
Hmm.
Nobody can teach you anything. You learn by yourself. And if people have heard about the stories of Guru Dattatreya or Bhagavan Dattatreya, I recollect that very fondly. Some people asked him, who is your guru?
Hmm.
So he said, I have 23 or 24 gurus. From the earth, I learn, that bears the weight of the entire world. From the atmosphere, I learn this. From that dog, I learn this. So, all routine things of nature and how he picks up lessons from that.
Hmm.
And once you embark on your journey of self observation, and that's where you keep on realizing so much. And then there is the thirst to find out more about things, thirst to find out more about how we can improve education, what all there is that we can do. That keeps us going. That
Beautiful.
seems very exciting.
Good. And okay, I had tagged another question with it. So I'll just modify it because
Yeah,
you
sure.
said this. What do you do in your relaxed time? How do you relax? How I'm sure after all this,
Yeah.
it's daunting that you are kind of looked upon, but at the same time it is tiring, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What do you do? What is that special thing that
See,
you do when
if you
you're
look at it for a fact, when you do something you enjoy, especially when you're running an institution like a school, it is not taxing. Work itself is relaxation. Work itself is pleasure.
that's so
And
beautifully put.
yes, physically you do get tired sometimes. And when you're tired, you're with yourself, you're with your breath, and that relaxes you. Plus, a lot of reading.
Hmm.
So, I do spend a lot of time on Twitter as well.
Okay.
Not getting into slanging matches, but there's a lot of excellent content which is there,
Hmm.
social media. So that's what I pick up, and then there's a lot of reading that I do. Anything that I get interested in, intrigued in, I'm not satisfied till I get to the depth of it.
Hmm.
So that again keeps you investigating, keeps you reading, and that's how I've also developed varied interests. And yeah, that relaxes me. Something new to learn, something new that I've learned, that gives a certain different kind of a kick. That okay, yes, I've realized this, or I've got to know about this, and that's very relaxing.
Okay. One last question.
Yeah.
I want to know, how would you define leadership? What does leadership mean to you?
Define, I don't know,
Or
but
probably what does it
yeah.
mean to you? How do you see leadership?
Yeah,
How would you?
leadership. One of the traits I think which comes right at the top of my mind is doing something which others are reluctant to do, or perhaps not courageous enough to do, or saying something, taking a stand on which others might not generally take a stand. If you believe your truth, if you're truthful, you're right, then stand for it. If you're passionate about it, don't just talk, walk on it. I think that's one of the traits of leadership, being able to stand for what you think is right and having the courage to go ahead and do it, irrespective of whether it might succeed or not.
Right.
That
Go
I
through the
think is,
process
yeah,
of
go through.
your vision.
Yeah, yeah. You're following what you do. You do what you think is right, and result is not in your hands.
Hmm.
So, like for the school again, I keep coming back to the school. Uh, we didn't know how many admissions we'll get. We don't know whether we'll make it a success or not. But we knew that we have to do this.
Hmm.
Karna to hai. We'll do this, and we'll see. Whatever happens, we'll see. So that I think takes courage, and that I think is a good trait of leadership.
Fantastic. Before we go, I would really like you to say or pass on a message to the students as well as the parents, if you have any.
Ah, there's a lot that I want to pass on, But one of the major things that I would like to say is that what goes on in the name of education nowadays, mostly what I feel is not education but indoctrination. The
Mm.
picture which is presented in front of us, you investigate it deeply, and it turns out that the reality is completely different. So, yeah, be aware of it, be conscious of it, see how reality differs to what is being taught to you, what is being fed to you, not only in schools, in media, and everywhere. And yeah, that's one thing that I would like everybody to be conscious of. And that's when you start discovering the true reality of not only of yourself, but also of your society, or also of the nature.
Fantastic. Lovely. I think we have to wrap it up here. I would love to speak with you more, but
Same here. It
time
was
is
a
a
wonderful
constraint.
conversation.
It was enlightening, and thank you so much, sir, for
Pleasure is
coming
entirely
and being
mine.
with us.
Never thought I'll have this kind of conversation, but yeah, it was really fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.